live streaming. It's preparing to live stream the meeting.
Yeah, once you actually see it on YouTube or however it works, then let us know.
And we are now live streaming. We are live streaming. It's preparing to live stream the meeting.
All right, there's the lag. Yeah, once you actually see it on YouTube or however it works, then let us know.
Yes, it's up on YouTube. And we are now live streaming. We are live streaming. It's preparing to live stream the meeting.
Brent, if you could mute yourself then. The lag. Okay, there we go. All right, good evening, everybody. We are here for the April 20th, 2020 regular board meeting of the Lakewood Board of Education. Our first time ever live stream and Zoom meeting. Just to make sure everybody is aware, this does comport with state rules and laws at this moment, where we are allowed to meet and vote remotely, so long as the public can view everything real time, which the live stream is operational now, so you can see everything. The board did meet at 6 p.m. for an executive session. We had 2 items to cover there and are now coming out of executive session into the regular meeting. With that, Treasurer Zeman, would you please call the roll?
Sure. Ms. Pete Barcelona.
Here.
Mr. Shaughnessy.
Present.
Mr. Favor.
Here.
Mr. Callahan.
Here.
Ms. Beebe.
Here.
Thank you very much. And we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you could rise if you're able and find a flag.
Oh, perfect.
There we go. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic
from which it
stands,
stands,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Board, we have before us the agenda for the meeting. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any changes or discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none, Mr. Zeman, would you call the roll?
Ms. Pete Barcelona.
Aye.
Mr. Shaughnessy.
Aye.
Mr. Favor.
Aye.
Mr. Callahan.
Aye.
Ms. Beebe.
Aye.
Great. Board members, we have before us the meeting minutes from the meetings held on March 2nd and March 16th. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or changes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Okay, thank you. I can't see everybody right now, so I'm gonna probably ask for those just in case. All right, moving forward. First item on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Dr. Barnes.
Thank you, Madam President. So glad to see everyone, albeit you are from afar. It's so good to see everyone and be with you this evening. As I previously mentioned, we were going to review the 60-day action plan and remote learning plan that has already been sent to the community and obviously the staff as well. But I'm going to suspend a portion of that and instead just talk a little bit about the most recent developments coming out of the governor's office today. This afternoon, Governor DeWine closed the K-12 schools in the state of Ohio for the balance of the 2019-2020 academic year. He does still suspect, however, for school districts and schools across the state of Ohio to continue to engage students in remote learning for the balance of the year. We here in Lakewood anticipated this being the case. And so along with stakeholders, which included members of our staff and community, put together and developed a 60-day action plan and remote learning plan to help guide us and help us to be laser focused over the next 60 days. I'm glad that we partook in that because with the announcement today, I believe that we as a school community are positioned to continue to provide a learning experience for students for the balance of the year, and while doing so, support our teachers in the process. I'm happy to announce that there's been great collaboration and engagement between our students and our staff over the time since we've been closed. Great effort has been made to connect, and we're very, very thankful for that. Our parents have been tremendously supportive. We've gotten great feedback about the process and how their students are being engaged. We are, however, poised and positioned to make some adjustments as necessary. And evidence of that is today, the district leadership team, which is comprised of administrators and teachers, met this afternoon and talked about the things that are going well and the things where we might need to make an adjustment. For example, the workload that is involved throughout the day for students based on grade levels, et cetera. While that was included in the 60-day plan, we still wanted to get feedback and refine and refresh what it is and how we're engaging students in learning so that we, in the spirit of continuous improvement, we can still try to be the best that we can be. Knowing that schools are closed for the balance of the year, according to the governor, there has been no indication that schools will open as normal in the fall. In fact, he even suggested that it might involve some kind of blended remote learning / in-person learning, depending upon how we handle COVID-19 moving forward. We've all been doing a great job in the state of Ohio, and they indicated in the governor's office that we have flattened the curve, but we're not out of the woods yet. They actually want to see it start to decrease. And so that was one of the reasons why the governor decided to close the schools. So with that, we are, I think, positioned appropriately to continue to engage students in learning. And so I wanted to just take this as a quick opportunity to just kind of mention the governor's most recent order and share that with the board in an open meeting. And at this time, if there are any questions about what the next few months holds, I'll do my best to try to answer them.
Board members, any questions?
Ms. Peter Barcelona, I would just say that, Superintendent Barnes has been planning for this. We've had discussions about the possibility of this happening, which has now occurred. So it doesn't catch us by surprise. And it's been part of what the administration has been working with.
But Dr. Barnes, would you share what you see as some of the triumphs, the good things that you're hearing from the teachers and the building leadership?
Sure. I think that, our teachers have taken this as an opportunity to be incredibly creative and engage the staff or the students in different ways, both using technology and not. I think the teachers have found incredible ways to collaborate with one another and their principals. I know that there's faculty meetings that are happening. I know that students are collaborating with one another, and they're producing fantastic examples of the fact that learning is continuing. Harrison had a parade the other day, last Friday, where staff members actually drove through the town of Birdtown, honking the horns to celebrate the students. And I know that other buildings are planning similar activities. So we're making the best of this. And what's really impressive to me is the fact that staff are going out of their way to socially connect with students, because the kids miss them. And we know that they miss the kids. And so that's really heartwarming during these times.
I had a quick question. I mean, I know we normally have summer school. Clearly it won't be an in-person, but have we thought at all about if we're going to continue some effort to continue some children's education over the summer?
Yes, we have. In fact, Mrs. Bruning and Dr. Palumbo and Mrs. Nitzwicki have been powwowing. And I know they've engaged some principals, and we'll be engaging some staff here shortly about what a summer experience could look like. Likely it will look different than it has in the past. And so with that uncertainty, I know that they're working on several plans, like an option A, B, and C, depending upon the degree of latitude that the governors and the Department of Health is able to offer. And so wanting to be prepared for anything, I know they're working for, various options so that we can, if possible, engage students still in summer learning.
Thank you.
So Dr. Barnes, I know this is all in the 16-day action plan, but I was wondering if you could, I guess, refresh or go over a little bit about the district's expectations of the students at their different ages and grades, as well as big picture, how this is impacting fourth quarter grading. You're on mute, Dr. Barnes.
Thank you very much. Sorry about that. Based on the grade level, working with our staff, we've determined, and we've sent this home in the 60-day action plan, the amount of work or the workload that could be reasonably expected for students to engage in. And we were intentional in making that appropriate for the grade levels. So obviously the younger kids, K1, 2, 3, are expected to be engaged far less throughout the day in remote learning than students in the upper grades like 10, 11, 12. And certainly students in advanced placement classes, the intensity of that is even higher. What we're looking at during the fourth quarter for grading purposes is making sure we're grading students based on engagement and effort. And we thought that that would be fair approach, especially considering this is very, very new for all of us. And at the same token, understanding the dynamics that are at home, knowing that some students are working with their siblings, we want to keep it manageable. We want to make sure that the focus is on learning, and that's what we intend to reward as a part of our grading.
Can I ask a real quick question? How are we doing on the distribution of lunches and breakfasts? I know there was one change to going to just several schools. What kind of participation are we getting?
Mike, you're on mute again. Dr. Barnes, I'm sorry.
I'll get this sooner or later. Please forgive me. The feedback that we're getting is that the participation has been fair, especially on those days where it's really been nice. We've got much more traffic. We've tried to be strategic in providing 3 locations, one on the east in Garfield, the west, and Harding Middle School, and the high school more centrally located. We're getting a significant amount of traffic. And since we've reduced the distribution days from 5 to 2, we're seeing families, students that are picking up meals on a Monday for the balance of the week and on Thursday through the weekend. So our food service staff seems to be really, really pleased with the participation in our meal distribution at this point.
Great. Happy to hear that.
How is everything going with regard to access to technology and connecting, at least for those grade levels where that connectivity is needed?
Yeah, I think we've been We've worked very collaboratively with our principals and our teachers to identify where there were issues, where there are issues. Our technology staff have really been champions of facilitating access for our students. We've had to think out of the box a little bit in terms of getting students some access. Connectivity right now hasn't posed to be a big detriment. And what's pleasing is that when there are issues, our community hasn't hesitated to reach out to us for us to be a partner in the problem solving. So that's been very, very pleasing.
Mike, could you talk a little bit about the issues that West Shore Career Tech is facing in this? Their programs are so much more hands-on. I'm not sure how you do remote learning in an automobile lab.
Yeah.
Any
Well,
news from that front?
not a lot. I mean, the Ohio Department of Education has come out and they've been discussing forgiving some of the hours, the contact hours, so long as the teacher in the courses can certify that students have met at the time of closure hours. And typically for us at West Shore, we are well ahead of the curve in terms of getting students access to the field experience, if you will, that results in the hours for the completion of the program. So I think we're in a good position right now. I think the Ohio Department of Education is poised to come out with some more guidance. A lot of this has really been hurry up, wait and see. And, you know, we've had to anticipate, but we certainly didn't know for certain some of the guidance that would be provided by the Ohio Department of Education. This is an example, but there have been some relief provided for school districts and career tech consortiums to make this a successful experience for kids, even with limited experience in the field.
Any other questions or comments for Dr. Barnes with regard to this plan? I know we'll have a chance to speak more, but we do want to thank you, Dr. Barnes, all the administrators, and of course, all of our teachers and support staff who are making this educational experience real and effective during this time. I know as a parent, I certainly appreciated in the 60-day plan, just the notes of things like the expectations of our kids and ultimately what we're looking for from this and focusing on the connections and just keeping the relationships going, I guess, when it comes down to it with school. While of course this is with us every moment of the day, we are in the midst of a pandemic and an experience that none of us have ever had. And in particular, our kids are certainly experiencing life and suffering in different ways, in ways that we probably can't even picture. And so the fact that we in Lakewood can keep them connected with our teachers, keep them connected with their peers, and just the whole experience, I think is very good. So congratulations on getting things out as quickly and as effectively as possible. And just thank you for all the hard work that everybody in our district is still continuing to do day in and day out, even under these different circumstances.
Thank you. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
Okay. Moving forward, and I guess I just want to note for those participating or watching that because we did not have a meeting the first Monday of the month, as there was no urgent need or necessary, business that we had at that time, we are doing the regular agenda, and then that'll be immediately followed by the consent agenda. So with that is now we're into the discussion of agenda items, and the first area is the finance report. Ms. Beebe.
Get it unmuted and okay. The finance report consists of 3 items. The first being investments purchased and matured for February 2020. We have charts and tables in our materials that identify investments which matured during the month of February. Investment earnings for regular board funds for the month of February totaled $81,541, bringing fiscal year-to-date earnings to $707,497. Investment earnings for construction funds for the month of February totaled $3,263, and the total to date was $38,828. That's investments. Second item is financial information for the month of February. General fund receipts totaled $20,438,283. And general fund expenditures, hold on, can't, 2020, I have $20,438,283. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. That was the real estate settlement that comes in the month of February.
Oh, okay. Okay, it seemed awfully high. And the expenditures of $6,247,297. Year over year revenues for the month of February are up but are within the forecasted amount year to date. And these things do go up and down mostly because of timing issues. The forecast is reflecting expenditures exceeding revenues beginning in the fiscal year 2020. This will be the first year expenditures exceed revenues since the community approved the last operating levy in May of 2013. And as everyone in the community knows, I hope we are on the ballot with asking for additional revenues so that we can maintain a cash balance sufficient and responsibly to continue operations of the district. All accounts have sufficient funds available to cover appropriations. The third item is a resolution regarding First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Lakewood Evaluation Settlement Agreement. The Board of Education challenges commercial properties when it appears that well, in this case, First Federal challenged their appraisal from the county. We came in as a Board of Education as an interested party. We stipulated with in a settlement agreement with First Fed that the fair market value of the property owned by First Fed in the center of Lakewood as to a value, and the First Fed will be making compensation payments to the Board of Ed in the amount of $180,000 or $30,000 per tax year for the first 6 years of this appraisal cycle. And we'll dismiss our pending appeal and complaint and go forward with the settlement once we've agreed to it. Is that anything to add to that, Mr. Zeman?
If I could, just with the First Federal of Lakewood settlement, just understanding that does maintain and keeps the district whole in regards to that settlement agreement with the county. So the district is losing no revenue based upon that stipulation of the market value as set by the county and agreed upon by the school district.
Right. Okay, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Beebe. Moving forward, we have building sites and major purchases. Mr. Favor.
I have nothing to report this week, Mrs. Petrie Barcelona.
Thank you very much. Next report, education, Mr. Callahan.
Thank you, President Petrie Barcelona. The education report, we do have 3 items, the first of which being a resolution to waive tuition for a non-resident senior. A Lakewood High School senior has requested that she be allowed to complete her senior year on a non-tuition basis. That is this 1920 school year following a move to Westlake. The second is a resolution to approve an agreement between the Lakewood Board of Education and EMS Link Incorporated the services agreement with EMS Link Inc. provides the district with access to the registration gateway service. Registration gateway process enables families to complete required beginning of the year paperwork online and alleviates the need for parents to complete multiple sets of paperwork when they have multiple students attending in the district. Registration gateway also allows guardians to access online registration via the school website or kiosk. Documents are
Is
I
Ms.
can't hear Mike.
Yeah, Miss Mike Callahan, we are unable to hear you right now, but it doesn't look like you're on mute.
I am not on mute.
Oh,
Perhaps.
there,
Am I
there,
back?
now,
You're back.
now we
Okay.
can hear.
Did we get the gifts to Lakewood Schools, the first one?
No, if you could
No.
please cite the gifts.
Okay, great. So the final item in the report are the gifts to Lakewood Schools. The first being a gift to Lakewood High School, or the King's Church donating $3,000 to be used to fund school projects that otherwise wouldn't be supported through the general fund. The second is a gift to West Shore Career Tech from Colleen Clark Sutton. We certainly appreciate the donation of a 2007.
Think we lost him again.
Yes.
Mike? Yeah.
Will, Mike, we're made perhaps on the Wi-Fi side or something. Okay, we see you again, Mike. Callahan, excuse me, Mr. Callahan.
Did you need me to repeat?
No, we got the gifts. Wait, there was an SUV, correct? Was there anything after that?
So a 27 Jeep Compass and then the 2003 Ford Escape.
Got it. All right, well, thank you very much. Moving forward, policy, we do actually have policy for this meeting. I'll note the changes we'll be considering. So we have before us a resolution to revise policies of the board, and pursuant to policy 9140.01, the superintendent does have the board policy review committee who have reviewed all suggested revisions that I'll speak to. In addition, these revisions have also been reviewed by the treasurer, cabinet members, and the Neola consultant. So with that, we have before us changes to board policy 5517, anti-harassment, and board policy 8420.01, which is pandemics and other medical emergencies. That is a new policy that we didn't have before. And with that, for the revisions for policy 5517, we're just noting that some definitions have been added or expanded in order to assist with the application of the policy. It does not, excuse me. And then for the pandemics and other medical emergencies, the policy authorizes the superintendent to establish a response team and work with local government and law enforcement. I know we had plenty of emergency medical and other policies, but I don't know that pandemics were listed in our policies before that. But so anyway, board, we have those two before us as well with the language. And again, it has gone through the policy review committee and those other reviews. Any notes or questions on these policies? All right, thank you. Moving forward. Next, we have Human Resource and Community Services Report. Mrs. Shaughnessy.
Thank you very much. We'll have 4 items. The first, a total of 29 actions for certified employees. The second, 20 actions for classified employees. The third, 6 actions for classified athletic coaches, advisors, ECES non-employees, and a total of 61 actions for community recreation and education.
All right, thank you. Moving forward on the agenda, we now have the time for communications. Superintendent Bars, Treasurer Zeman, any communications you would like to make or note?
At this time.
Not at this time.
Thank you. Board members, any communications or comments you'd like to make?
President Petrie Barcelona, if I could.
Please, Mr. Callahan.
Thank you. I've had a few community members reach out, and I just wanted to acknowledge that some questions about technology have come up, and when they have, I forwarded them through Dr. Barnes, and I just commend him for the response, and just appreciate that ability to facilitate answers and responses when folks present questions. By and large, the feedback that I'm getting from the community, though, is just very, very positive. And personally, just my children's interactions with their teachers have just been outstanding, and they so look forward to the engagement when it is there. The Zoom meetings or other types of video conferencing, or even a response to an email or a question. The teachers have just been outstanding, and that's a personal experience of our family, but also one that our friends and colleagues commonly share with me as well. So I think that's representative of the community. I said at our last meeting, I do commend Dr. Barnes just for being for his leadership in this difficult time, and certainly holds true today, and also carries forward to the entire cabinet and all of our staff and our teachers. So I just think in light of everything that's going on, we're really engaging our students, communicating well with students and parents, and doing the best that we possibly can. And if I could further add, again, that 60-day plan, certainly prudent to be looking out that far, given the news today out of Columbus. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Callahan.
Ms. Petrie Barcelona.
Mr. Favor.
Yeah, similar comments to Mr. Callahan's. The feedback that I've received is, although it's been challenging for families and students, that they are very complimentary as to what they've been receiving, the work of the teachers and the whole district in very challenging times. Most of the parents and even the kids will be glad when the day comes that they can get back to school. Having said that, the compliments have been far more positive than negative, even though there are drawbacks and there are limitations to what we're trying to accomplish. It is being very well received.
Thank you, Mr. Favor. So with that, I'll just note too, of course, I think we're all, mourning might not be the right term, but we're all sad that we know at this point for sure we will not be assembling again during this school year, at least in any ways that we were used to. I would like to thank the district and other people supporting people like our seniors, the class of 2020, as well as other recognizing everybody who's acknowledging these milestones that will be very different than for people in generations past. And I appreciate the community sort of really working together to not just celebrate the students, but recognize those achievements that have been made, even if we're not able to recognize them or experience some of those, events that we may expect. Just know that we as a district will continue to see what we are able to do or not. And ultimately that when we can and when it's not just permitted, but appropriate, we'll continue to find ways to celebrate the success and accomplishment of those students who won't be joining us next year because they've matriculated. But the good news is we can all work together and support each other as we work through this new normal-ish that we're working through. So I just want to thank the district for recognizing those students and those accomplishments.
Absolutely.
With that, We did note in the notice for this meeting, our first fully remote meeting, that anybody from the public who would like to make a comment on the agenda could do so via email through earlier today. We did not receive any comments. Is that still correct, Mr. Zeman and Dr.
Correct.
Barnes? Okay,
That is
thank you. So for anybody who may watch us in future meetings or where we'll be having a meeting, and so long as we need to do this remotely for everybody's health and safety, please know that once the agenda's made available, we'll have that email available for you to submit any comments. I or whomever would be acting president would read those into the meeting to make sure that your question or comment is recognized. So were there to be something in the future, please feel free to do that. In the off chance it's quite long, we generally keep the comments to approximately 3 minutes. So with that, we may find need to summarize anything, but were there to be a need for that in the future, please let us know. Additionally, you can email or call board members or others if for some reason the email isn't a way for you to get in touch with us. Just know that we'll be able to hear those comments during these open meetings. But we have none this time. So with that, we move forward to the next item, which is the consent agenda. The consent agenda. Is there a motion to accept the agenda or approve it?
I will
Second.
move adoption of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
So it's been moved by Mrs. Shaughnessy, seconded by Mr. Favor. Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Zeman, would you please call the roll for the consent agenda?
Ms. Petrie Barcelona,
Aye.
Mrs. Shaughnessy,
Aye.
Mr. Favor,
Aye.
Mr. Callahan,
Aye.
Ms. Beebe.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to the next item, we have Human Resources and Community Services, Mrs. Shaughnessy.
Thank you very much. Mr. Zeman, would it be appropriate to do the first A, B, and C as one motion, and then the last one, which requires a roll call vote separately?
Yes, that's acceptable.
Okay, thank you. So I would move that the certified, classified, and classified athletic coaches and advisors actions, that resolution be approved.
I second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll just note that, as always, we appreciate the service of those persons who are retiring and wish them well. With that, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any nays? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you. Next item, Mrs. Shaughnessy.
Thank you very much. This is 61 actions for community recreation and education. This will require a roll call vote, and I move adoption of this resolution.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Zeman, please call the roll.
Ms. Petrie Barcelona,
Aye.
Mrs. Shaughnessy,
Aye.
Mr. Favor,
Abstain.
Mr. Callahan,
Aye.
Ms. Beebe.
Aye.
Thank you. That concludes the agenda items. Is there any other business that comes before the board? Board members or administrators?
I would just like to say thank you, board, for your flexibility, considering the circumstances and engaging in meeting differently and still being responsible for the business of the board, and taking time out of your schedule throughout the week to prepare for this. I just say thank you, and we greatly appreciate the work.
I think I'd like to add on to that. I'd like to thank Brent Calley for his work. He's made this work, which is a wonderful thing, and made it pretty painless. So thanks, Brent. Good job.
Very much appreciate you.
Likewise. Thank you, Brent.
All right, thank you. And hearing no other business, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, sorry, say aye. Any nays on that one? All right, hearing none, I find this meeting in adjournment. Until next time, everybody.
Thank you very much, all.
Good
Thank you all.
night, everybody.
All right.
Good night.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.